So what I want to do is make a film all about product placement, marketing, and advertising, where the entire film is funded by product placement, marketing, and advertising.
Well, you know, when we do these recordings, they sound so clear when they come out of these Sony headphones right here.
They really do.
Of course, you couldn't do anything with these if you didn't have this nice M-Audio soundboard right here. I mean, the front of technology, you know?
I was thinking the exact same thing when we were watching this at the Alamo Draft House. As I was ordering my Diet Dr. Pepper and my Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, I thought, man, if it wasn't for the wonders of this equipment, we'd never be able to do this.
Well, that's the thing. People out there who listen to this, they won't even get the full experience unless they're on a Dell computer with some Bose speakers.
I have to disagree because we're recording this right now on this lovely, sleek 17-inch MacBook Pro that I'm using right here, and your levels are so even.
That's right. And once Corey is done with that, it gets sent to me on my beautiful Tandy computer at Radio Shack back around 1985. And I work on the audio very hard, and I put it back. I give it back to Corey.
By the way,
voila, the magic continues.
Now, the executive Radio Shack is going, I ain't paying for that.
Hey, how does the animations look in CRT?
Oh, it looks beautiful. Yeah.
I don't think anybody's paying for any of this. Oh, by the way, would you get your Buster Browns off my couch right now? Oh, man. Yeah, we're getting ripped off because nobody's paying for any of this shit that we're doing right now.
Seriously, for the type of money that they're talking about this movie getting paid just to mention shit that you may even already like, we got some back pay coming to us.
I know. If we had done our work and gone out and just got sponsors before we started this review, this would have been $1 million review right here.
No shit.
What's all the if we had and we should have? It's not too late.
All right,
when review is done. We got some phone calls.
I'm gonna go get my red lipstick and my whore wig. I'm gonna buy me some computers and some new mics. Christmas in the summertime.
Well, I think everybody considers us to be whores right now. I mean, if you go by what the fans say on Spill, we've been fucked by Jonah Hex. We've been fucked by Paul the Alien.
No. I think we're the ones who've been fucking because none of those movies are making any money. Advertising on our site.
Me, man, all this wonderful Spill airtime that they're getting.
Yeah. We do the exact opposite of what companies are hoping for.
I notice they haven't been offering us a hell of a lot of these lately. I wonder if it's because almost every time we're like, yeah, it sucks.
Actually, you know what? We're giving them probably more attention than those movies deserve. I mean, I think they did $2 or $3 better than they would have if they not been on Spill.
Right. Oh, that guy who goes to
twice their intake. I mean,
yes. Jonah Hex
none of these have been blockbusters.
Oh, yeah.
Our fans went to go see it just so in case they'd be able to argue with us in the questions.
Right. We're talking about all this stuff here, all this branding, this sponsorship, this commercialism, marketing, because
merchandising,
yes, because we're talking about Palm Wonderful presents Morgan Spurlock's The Greatest Movie Ever Sold. And you know what? I have to give this guy credit. He did exactly what a lot of people, anybody who goes out and tries to seek sponsorship for anything knows how hard it is to do. But also he taught us a lesson. Somebody gonna say yes. If it's like Joe's Rib Shack down the street, somebody's gonna say yes if you keep asking.
Yeah, if we went around, we would find somebody, even if it's just that hooker who works down by the corner. We'd be like, look, we will totally talk about how great your blowjobs are.
Yes.
Thursday through Saturday.
At which point she would go, okay.
Yeah. Show up
Just don't mention my bullet wounds.
Show up at Corey's for the photo shoot.
Morgan Spurlock, what he did was wanted to kind of make a film that not even put marketing in a bad light. He just wanted to take an honest approach to the ups and downs of marketing. And to do that, he does it in his own style. He goes out and he makes a documentary about it, putting himself in it, and then putting himself in situations that a lot of people would probably not be able to handle. In this case, he went out and raised $1.5 million to fund this movie as he said, this doc-buster. And when you watch this movie, it seems like a rough climb ahead of him. But at some point, somebody gonna say, hell yeah, exposure? Sure.
I suppose. I mean, built on a very flimsy premise that, hey, by getting sponsorship, I'll make money off this documentary. It's like, well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know if there's enough there to really make back the money these people put into it, but sure, go for it.
Yeah, the most important branding going on here is him continuing to brand his own name. Because as it's prominent on the poster and in the advertising, I think the movie's actual success is less important to him than continuing to put his name in the spotlight as a type of person who represents populist irony, if you will.
Yeah, but it's him the whole time acting like, can you believe these corporate fucks? They give you $1 million and they want you to do what they want you to do.
God, what is that?
What the hell is wrong
Yeah.
with them? You see what's wrong with America?
You think anybody watching films in the past like 10 years would already get this by just common sense when
Yeah.
you're watching the film alone?
Well, see, that's the problem with any documentary that we see today. I mean, even when we have somebody like Morgan Spurlock, who, as we know, everybody knows him from Super Size Me, when he went off and ate a bunch of McDonald's and said, "Oh shit, I'm fat." What the fuck you think was going to happen? You know?
Yeah. Plus, he was a vegetarian right
Yeah.
beforehand. He's like, "Oh, this burger made me sick. It's so bad for you." It's like, dude, I don't care if that's the best burger in the world. If you ain't eating meat in 10 years, you're gonna get
You're going to throw up.
You're gonna get
Dumbass.
chicken wing.
But that's probably his saving grace, is that because everybody does it at some point. I mean, it's hard to even take a documentary seriously today, or not even seriously, but having to look at it and say, okay, everything that I see here is fact, or everything that's presented to me is real. Because even Morgan Spurlock falls into this category of like, well, I do come in and fake a little bit of this. His biggest asset here is that, to me, he's an entertaining personality. And some of this stuff, I mean, really, if you don't believe that he went out and sold this, some of it's real, because you know how much I fly JetBlue.
Oh, yeah. I love JetBlue.
Yeah, and Morgan Spurlock has, like, on my trip just back, he's like on the TV talking to you like, look at the wonderful TVs on here and spacious leg room. And I'm like, why the fuck is he telling me this? I was like,
Look at those nice wings outside your window. You think wings like that come cheap?
yeah, so you be eating a Big Mac right now? Why are you fucking with me? I don't know you, man. I don't know you, you know. And it turns out he has JetBlue as one of the sponsors. I mean, I have a list here of the sponsors that he has. He went out and got a lot of sponsors. Amy's Kitchen, Carrera Sunglasses, Band Deodorant, Hyatt Hotels, Mini
Coopers.
Mane and Tail, a shampoo for
Which is my favorite.
for people, and horses.
I know. I was like, mane and tail. Wow, it's about time somebody gave them their due.
But it's funny how he's making fun of Mane and Tail. He's like, it's for horses and for people. But people who actually use shampoo know it's actually a really good shampoo.
Yeah, it is. My
I mean,
mother
horses
uses-
have hair on their tails. Sorry.
Yeah, the documentaries that he makes for his audience, which is like middle class America, they already know about this shit. Like,
the list goes on here. Movietickets.com, Old Navy, Palm Wonderful, Sheets, which is a
gas station.
Gas station. That's
Yeah,
all
named
it
after the
is.
family Sheets.
We don't know about that sheets down here.
Yeah, we don't get none of that down here.
None of that sheets around here.
Bucky's, if you ever been one. Thyers, well, I don't know what that is. 7th Generation Incorporated, Morel, JetBlue, and the country of Aruba.
Damn.
Didn't they
I
get
hope we're
sponsored?
getting a check from all those people. Right?
I know.
Well, they already spit it on his ass. you know?
When can we get sponsored by the country of Aruba?
Because
or Amsterdam. Let's get them to
Okay,
sponsor.
Well, Aruba, I think, is bankrupt after giving Morgan Spurlock, all that
Aruba
money.
must have gave him $10 because I don't remember that getting advertised in the movie at all.
I don't either.
Briefly.
Yeah. I think they mentioned it, yeah.
It was
the
more of
credits somewhere.
a flying tag by. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Aruba.
So here's the deal. Now, I dare anybody. I dare you to go into this movie and make a drinking game out of the many times that they say brand. Every time they say brand, take a drink. You won't make
You
it
will
at the
die.
theater. Yeah, you will die. You'll
Or
die
even
midway
palm.
through.
Yeah, or even palm. Or just seeing it. Just seeing it on the screen.
In the first 15 minutes, you would die. You'd have to be carted out of there by, I'm sure, some reputable ambulance company that did not pay.
Well, then just drink palm, so you don't. Maybe, let's see if anybody can actually die while seeing how many times they say brand and by when they actually see palm up on screen. I mean,
But palm is full of antioxidants. It will help you live
I
longer.
did not know this. Tell me more.
Somebody greased your palm.
Hey, you got heart disease? Palm will take it away. Palm Wonderful will make your dick hard.
Is your shit not red enough? Drink some palm.
I will say this. I will say this about palm, which actually I was surprised because the first time I ever had palm, I kept on hearing that you're supposed to mix it with stuff and that you're not.
Yeah, vodka.
So I tried it. I tried it by itself, and I tell you what, I shit for the whole fucking day after that. I said, dude, shit,
Is that what that oil
shit
trail?
city. Yeah, it was shit
Look
city.
like
in
fucking
this house.
Exxon had a whole field in this shit right here, man. Don't you ever drink that again?
Damn you, Paul.
Like, damn, did a fucking Freightliner just crash through here?
Shit cleaned out my
Shit, that
circuits.
was a fucking baby seal in here dying because of the shit you took from other oil.
The oil spill you heard about in the
Exxon
ocean, that was in the
Valdez.
ocean. It was right here.
But you know something, like I said, the thing that Morgan Spurlock does best is that he's entertaining when he does this. He goes in and he knows how to pick some of the right people to talk to also make it entertaining. Maybe he doesn't. I mean, because looking at all the marketing executives who are working in that industry, they all look like mutants.
Well, dude, they're like the biggest ass clowns that actually have like really great jobs, and that's kind of the funny thing about it. Because I mean, there's times when he doesn't even really have to go out of his way to make them seem like just complete like closed in morons.
But they don't even
sometimes.
seem to know anything about advertising.
No,
half the time. You're like seeing him in board meetings say stuff like he's like, so what is it like with a band? People goes, what is it that you would think of when you describe your process? What words go with it? And this room full of the advertising executives or band don't have a fucking.
they all
People
they all
who went to
go- they all
college.
go,
Yes.
The guy's like, fresh.
Well, that's what was.
Somebody goes, "What? It's the future or something?" Like,
Technology.
technology. Yeah.
I think technology, like it's fucking deodorant. I know. We ain't talking about a computer. You ain't Steve Jobs.
I know, and I'm like, this person probably went to fucking the most prestigious college that I will
You know
never,
what?
I can't even pronounce, and she has this job.
Yeah, I'm sure you and Leon have had to sit through meetings where we had to pitch ideas or artwork or something. But it's funny because you mentioned that when the room looks at him just with blank stares, they have their own language, these marketing people, and they talk it to you like it is another language. And then when he flips the question on them, it's like, well, tell me what you're about. And they just they go blank.
You're right. You're right. They do have their own language. It's called waiting for you to shut the fuck up, so they can finally tell you what all you need to know. Because I mean, honestly, I don't know how many times because I've been in a meeting room and I've kind of sat through the same shit where it's like you don't give a fuck. You're kind of just entertaining me by me just being in here. Yeah. So you're gonna wait till I shut the fuck up so you can look at me because you're not even whatever's going in fucking your head right now is going out through the ear, and then you're gonna say what you want, what you want to be done.
No, what they're gonna say is no.
Yeah.
Yeah. They give you all this rigmarole, and at the end of the meeting, they just say no. There's even a scene in here where Morgan Spurlock is talking to this guy, and the guy's like, oh yeah, this sounds like a very innovative idea that you're doing. And he's like, so you're gonna help me? He's like, yes, we're gonna help you. Cut that camera off, and he told me to cut that camera off. Just tell him, fuck no.
get the fuck out of my building.
He cut the kid like I
love the guy saying, yeah, no, I know some people I can get you in touch with. Just turn the camera off. As soon as he does, he say, and they kicked us out.
And the cut is like him shaking his hand with enthusiasm. Cut, and then you see Morgan Spurlock walking down the sidewalk with his fucking papers in his hand, his head down.
No dogs allowed.
And the people, they look at you even when they're talking to you, they all get this like zombified, just big-eyed looks on their faces like, oh, tell us about yourself. Oh, tell us, what is your idea? So you want to make a movie. And it's like, they're not even, you wonder if they even listen. They turn into automatons.
When he's
a weird
presenting
world.
the Palm Wonderful, like the people, the board, his list of like commercial ideas, which by the way, were fucking the funniest part of the whole goddamn movie. When he showed his thing, especially the one about like how it gives you a giant boner. I was like, okay, that was awesome. They're not listening at all. At the end, they're like, that's nice. Now what about this? And they just list this generic fucking ad they want to do.
They're the most polite.
Like,
God damn it. Maybe it's because I'm actually in the business world because those ideas he had, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a funny joke, but they won't fly.
No,
I mean,
you're right.
I mean, look, the other side of it, he's trying to go like, wow, these people, they just have no creative soul. They can't see what I'm trying to do. And you look at it, it's like, look, there's millions of dollars on the line here. And you're fucking around.
You're right.
If you're not fucking around, you coming in here, like, there's people who study advertising. They go to college, they get degrees, they learn this, and you're just some asshole off the street who thinks you can come in and do it as well as them. Well, that's a lot of hubris.
That being said, like commercials like, say, that Old Spice whole run, imagine how many boardrooms the guy who came up with that got kicked out of before finally somebody said, fuck it, yeah, we'll try it.
Yeah,
and it made them a shit ton of money.
Yeah, that's one where it's like, wow, you know what, our numbers aren't doing good.
Sometimes it is the
let's go
crazy
with it.
ideas.
But you know what? At the end of every one of those scenes like that, though, I mean, there was points where I was just like, okay, no duh. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not really telling
That's
me
the problem
anything
with the whole
new.
movie.
Which is
exactly.
which is right.
The whole
But
time, too.
the one thing where the movie succeeds is that it is completely entertaining. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? This really isn't, as far as if you were to get an average movie-going audience in here, I don't think they would really care all that much. I mean, it's so out there already. I think even the general public knows that, yeah, people are advertising, people are screwing over people. Now that you can see like a fucking Thor commercial, but with somebody selling a car Thor's in it, you know, and they're showing like a good part of the movie. You're like, okay, when is this shit going to end to where it's almost like a parody onto itself?
Okay,
now.
here's where I disagree with you, though. I mean, I see what you're saying completely. I agree on one level, but I think general audiences actually will like this because the humor is very broad, and he does this thing that Morgan Spurlock is good at in the first place, which is convincing the audience he's one of them, even though his whole gig is kind of being a hipster. He's he smirks his way through the entire film as if he's better than all these people doing this, even though he never really gives any examples why he is at all. But he makes the audience feel like they're in on the joke against the whole advertising world.
That's
like, we're going to show these evil capitalist bastards.
Well, that's what I was
not
gonna-
idiots.
And that was bugging me. I mean, it's like I would enjoy it, but then it will also bug me because I was like, you know what? The last thing I want to do is stick up for corporate America or advertising, but goddamn it, you're not showing the other side.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you know what? Because like there's a point where he shows the Subway commercials. You know, you say product placement; these are goddamn commercials they were doing in the middle of Chuck. It was disgusting. But the reality was that was the only way that show could stay on the air.
It was about to be canceled until they signed that deal.
Well,
and the fans didn't care. They were like, great, as long as we get more Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, it is like, hey, man, this product placement sucks, but would you like to lose this show?
See,
sometimes that's the only way to keep it on.
I don't think this is a tirade against product placement. I think he's taken a very fair approach to it. First of all, the movie plays out like it has a plot. I mean, and whether he's constructed it this way or whether it happened naturally, I don't know, magic of editing or whatever. But it starts out with him on a mission. You know, I want to make this movie. I want to make it about marketing, and I want to do the ironic thing of talking about marketing the way I'm going to get this movie funded, you know, by just putting blatant product placements in commercials in my film. And you follow him at first, getting shot down, one person after another. And those are amusing, and you do actually feel for him. I mean, it's at that point that he's not smirking and looking at the camera like I'm better. You know,
Yeah, he's like, damn, I thought it was going to be a lot easier.
yeah,
than it
exactly.
turned out to be.
And you're rooting for him at this point. And so when he goes to a marketing firm that wants to go against everything out there and try, and their reputation is to try something different. So of course they take him on. The moment that he starts to pick up momentum, for me, I enjoyed being on that ride with him, seeing all these people that he eventually picked up just because he picked up one person. Now, the problem that we go along with this, like I said, where he's looking at the camera and he's just smiling the whole time. And, you know, it's just kind of like when he's taking a phone call from Main and Tail, and you can tell that he's mugging for the camera. He looked on the website and saw a horse and a woman standing by each other. And somebody's on the phone. They've already answered. He was like, I can't even do this with a straight face. Look at this right here. You know, he saw that ad before he fucking looked at it, to make the call. I mean, that's obviously a phony moment. There's another moment where it's completely false. He's smarter than this, and I think the audience is smarter than this. That part where he's going in and showing the people the ad.
Yeah.
It's two parts to that. I thought one of the ads was actually pretty good that he showed him. He goes to this woman, Linda Resnick or something, who's the owner of Palm Wonderful. And so he has two ideas. One is a kind of a visually interesting thing that he's storyboarded. And I think that would be something that, like you said, Cyrus, you know, it's so weird, like the Old Spice guy. I think it would work, at least as an internet campaign.
I think it would too, but you're going to find hardly anyone who would say yes.
Well,
That's
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Okay, what's missing out of that is he walks in and pitches two ideas. And in a real, advertising pitch session, you come in armed with lots of ideas because you know a bunch of them get shot down.
And you're good enough to be able to spitball just in case, like, they shoot everything.
Well, he
down.
came
You
in
still
with
got
three
time
ideas, and I don't think that, you know, and being a guy who's not a marketing or a commercial person or a marketing executive, you know, I give him that. But the thing is that he came in with ideas that he intentionally knew would get shot down so that he could make one point in the movie, you know, force a point by saying, you know, he was acting at this point, saying, well, you know, they shot down all these creative ideas, and if I sell out, I'm at a crossroads now. If I sell out for this movie,
Corey, you're right.
I'm realizing that now that these people own me and I can't be as creative as I want to. And it's like, shut the fuck up.
It
You
is
realize that
bullshit.
we're not that dumb.
But
it was a setup because just like you were talking about earlier with him mugging for a camera, so's every scene in this film. Everything feels just set up and pre-written and scripted. I mean, nothing feels real about it, which you'd think would be appropriate if there was a third level to the ironic joke he was building, but there's not.
First thought, what's it going to do to Morgan Spurlock? And what's it going to do to the satire and the spoof? Because you can satirize and spoof yourself out of your objective. But out of this film may come a transformed, commercialized, corporatized Morgan Spurlock. And you'll never be able to shake the identity. That's your peril.
Yeah.
That's your challenge.
Well, have you got a pair of these?
You know what it feels like? It feels like here's a guy who grew up watching Michael Moore's films and went, man, I want to make documentaries like that, just not about stuff that means anything. Nothing that's actually challenging or difficult.
And
but
that's-
I want to be a charismatic documentarian who uses humor.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, you nailed it.
Well,
you completely nailed it.
Well, and that's the biggest problem. I've always thought of him as like a Michael Moore Jr. I mean, honestly, it's like he would sort of be like, I don't want to call him the Dane Cook to
That's a little too much. He's not at that level.
The Dane Cook of ambush documentary journalist.
He's more like the everybody
to Bill
loves-
Hicks. I don't want to call him the
he's the
Dane.
everybody
the
loves
Dane Cook.
Raymond.
Yeah, everyone loves Raymond. To Dane. Yeah, to Bill Hicks. But the thing is that that's the biggest problem with this movie. Even though there are parts where it is entertaining, he's kind of giving just the average moviegoer some knowledge that I think anyone who's into film or anyone who likes to research this stuff already knows. But that's the biggest problem with me with this film. I was like, if it actually had been a guy who honestly wanted to make a movie, somebody who isn't this guy, I would have found this film a lot more interesting. Because the thing is, everyone knows who this guy is. Every time he meets somebody in one of these boardrooms, they know who he is. They know this is the guy who fucking cut fucking McDonald's a new asshole.
Right.
I mean, so they know his reputation. They know everything.
I did McDonald's cut him a new asshole as much as he was eating.
I've always been under the theory that it's possible that whole thing was paid for by McDonald's.
It could have easily been.
Immediately afterwards,
you wanna eat McDonald's.
Immediately afterwards, they announced
It
a
could
new
have easily
low-cal
been.
menu with a bunch of
that's
stuff.
true.
Yeah.
It was like suspicious timing, and I was like,
no, it could easily been, but the thing is that, this guy has a reputation. People know who he is. So yeah, I mean, everything kind of felt a little phony. It felt like a lot of things were played up, and that was the problem with the film, to where I couldn't really buy into it. I was like, if this was directed by anyone else, somebody who honestly was trying to make a film about this subject, I would have found it a lot more interesting, and I think you would have gotten a lot more of a brutal response, brutal reality of dealing with these companies, unlike the sugar-coated stuff that I got with this film.
I tell you,
It does get very warm and fuzzy.
Well, you know what? I tell you what. See, I wasn't even concentrating on that angle. I think people can look past that. Look, we know this already, and either you accept it or you don't. I mean, and even when they show this stuff, I have to agree. Like, marketing has gotten, especially the commercialism we see in TV shows. Yeah, the TV shows might need it, and we might have to have it, but we're moving so fast with all this media that we have now, and different ways of incorporating it into. Because look, advertising has been around for years. I mean, this is nothing new. It's just people are just weirded out because we see a shift, a paradigm shift in the way that our media is delivered to us now. So all this commercialism is coming out in new ways. Like we always bring up the example. Fred Flintstone presented cigarettes before the show. There were times when they incorporated, in the variety shows on TV, like that drag queen back in the day.
Milton Berle.
Milton Berle, they would actually
And on
incorporate
the original Tonight Show, they used to come out and go take a break and go, you know what, I need to tell you about the Roto-Rooter. And the actual host would tell you.
Now word from our sponsor.
They even name TV shows after, after the GE Theater or something
They
like that.
still do that on sports. Th'll still have the actual guys in the booth going, you know what, and start talking about some product real quick.
I just that today, we've moved so fast. They don't know how to incorporate it well in the shows. They show a clip in this movie from 90210 where it's so bad they make actors act worse. There's a guy's like, something, you might be all right if you just wouldn't drink so much Dr. Pepper, and he holds it up and just almost looks at the camera.
It looked like a Saturday Night Live skit.
And the girl turns around, she's like, well, how can I resist? It's only the most refreshing cola in the world. And it's like, really? I was like, has it gotten that bad? I don't watch a whole lot of TV, so I was like, has it gotten that bad?
But the thing is that there's a little bleed over, because as J.J. Abrams brought up, sometimes they want to do it just because to make the characters seem like they're in our world, because as we use these products, they don't want them drinking just, generic beer like Laverne and Shirley. They want them to have something that we can identify with and just see them as a real
I don't
person.
mind that if it's like on a table or something, but when actors have to point it at the camera.
No, that's when it goes too far.
Oh, no, I got a Heineken around here.
But you know what?
That jacket somewhere.
One of the problems with this movie is that it feels like it should have come out and been made when that 90210 episode was airing, when people were naive about this sort of thing and they didn't really know. Now we're very savvy as a culture. About
And that's the thing, because knowing all this it didn't keep me up at night. It didn't make me go, oh man, we're all getting fucked. Yeah, because you know what? That's the thing. It's like, as far as just the average Joe, it has nothing to do with them.
It really doesn't.
It has absolutely nothing to do with it. It only affects you if you're making a fucking movie or if you're just wanting to talk about it.
See, I don't know. I learned something. When I go into a documentary, I always say the most important thing is for me to learn something. And I think that you can learn a lot of things whether you're for marketing or against it. Like, for example, I didn't know that in Sao Paulo, that back in, I think it was 2007, passed a ban of all advertising on buildings. And I didn't know this.
No, that was the most interesting thing. I worked with a girl from Brazil and told her about it. She just went last year. She didn't realize that happened. I had to show her the
Yeah,
article.
and it does look like, I mean, you begin to realize just how much advertising is pollution. This is why I hated Times Square, because, everywhere you look is an ad. And I was like, wow, it looks like a city now. And it really doesn't jar you as much.
Well, just pretend you're in Blade Runner.
I don't want to be in Blade
That's the
Runner.
only reason why I want to go there, because it looks like Blade Runner. That in Tokyo.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, hey, you know what? Thank God for some advertising, because it makes fucking buildings look really cool.
I know, they look so drab in those scenes.
This city needs a new coat of paint.
I was like, that's fine, but paint over the
Yeah, I know.
Jesus Christ.
It's like you're seeing ghosts of advertising on the wall.
I don't know, man. I thought it looked better. And the other thing, listen, this is why I don't think it's an anti-marketing film or a pro-marketing film, because
It's a safe film.
Morgan Spurlock says, look, it works. It's like there's nothing but I think that people who are into marketing majors, anybody that has to go out and find sponsorships for a little league team anywhere, we're up to like part of the corporate world. You can look at this and kind of learn how persistence and a little bit of savvy can get you probably anything funded.
If you're trying to make a film, yes.
You're trying to make a film,
Well, the thing is that one of the only thing in this movie that really had me like interested, as far as like something that I thought they really should have covered, like you can almost make a whole nother documentary about it, just is involving the schools and how they deal with advertising, and how when you realize that when that advertising isn't there, it cuts all their funding down to where they can't afford class programs, they can't afford a lot of stuff without that funding. That at the same time you think, wow, I'm just thinking about when they used to put Pizza Hut and like Subway and like companies like that into the school cafeterias to buy, you really, and the Coke machines, where you're like, wow, a lot of that revenue was going into the school providing the programs, but with the other side of that sword is that you're making kids fat, you're killing their health. You're like, wow, that would be interesting to explore, like the pros and cons, and see, is there any kind of middle ground with
when you
doing
say
something
that
with the school system? Yeah.
Well, when you say like nobody knows about anything or everybody knows about marketing and whatnot, I think people do know, but I think that this can also be seen as somewhat of a cautionary tale as to over marketing. I mean, they had students in high school who were saying, we're not stupid. We're the good students. We're the good kids. We don't want this to interfere with our education. There's no place for this in school. And I think that we can probably see this as getting rampantly out of control if we're not careful. I mean, when you're going to go to church and see like Jesus on the crucifix holding a Coke, what I mean?
It's interesting that the two most interesting parts of the film where you actually learn something have nothing to do with the making of that movie.
No,
they
not at all.
The part about Brazil, the part about schools, that's interesting. Could have spent another 20 minutes on those. But when we get back to him making
Mugging
this
it for
movie,
the camera.
mugging for the camera and all this, the setups and the knockdowns and the goofy little gags, it's kind of like, all right, I guess. I mean, I was entertained at times, but then there was a point about 3/4 in, I was kind of bored. I was like, I'm about done with this.
I thought it ran a little too long. That
By
was
the way,
the problem.
Leon, those nails used to nail Jesus up to the cross. Home Depot.
As is the lumber.
No, that's a lumber yard.
I was looking at Leon's face, like, this is when advertising goes a little too far.
And the cup used to catch his blood. Container store.
That's why.
Plastic. Yeah, it was plastic. Most people don't realize that.
Wine is from Argentina, by the way.
And the crown of thorns came from Michael.
But you know what, man? I guess I really did enjoy this movie more than the rest of you, just because I know what I'm going into. I know that, and it's like some things I learned, some things I knew were fake. And knowing all that, I was just entertained by the film. I would give this a low full price, well recognizing the flaws in it, well recognizing the falsities, but I just found it funny. It made me laugh throughout the whole thing.
You know what? I was a big fan of Super Size Me. It's biased as hell. I still thought it was very entertaining and well done. And it did make me think. And he brought in a lot of information, again, about the nutrition going on in schools and all kinds of things. A lot to think about. I dug his show, 30 Days, that he used to have on, I think it was FX, where he takes somebody out of their element for 30 days. An army guy from Tennessee go live with Muslims in Iowa for 30 days. And I don't remember the other movie he made. I think I might have skipped that one. But when it comes to this one, I don't know. It felt lacking to me. It didn't give me what I got out of those other things. It was entertaining for a while, but not completely. I mean, that point when I was bored, I was like, dang, it's not even sustaining me on laughs. I mean, I've got some out of it, but for the most part, everything, I don't want to rehash everything we said, but I got tired of him play acting like, wow, what about this world where, you get in bed with these people and then they control you. It's like, no, you accept money from somebody. They give you that because they want you to do a certain job, and you can't later go like, wow, I can't believe you're trying to make me your slave just because you paid me. It's like you acting like a child.
Try to do that shit with the mob.
I mean,
Or don't. We're not telling you to do that. It's not a call to action.
That's your project for the day, kids.
I know. My creativity, my creative freedom. Shut the fuck up. The knees right there.
just try doing it, having a day job. I mean, clearly he's playing for the hippies and the hipsters, and for them that's fine if they want to act like, oh, people need to know this because they don't know. But hey, guess what? People do know. You're not the only ones with the keys to this knowledge, and it just didn't kick enough of that knowledge to me. For me, I have to say it's a rental.
You know, I think we're more or less on the same page. I think there are a couple of things you didn't address specifically. One of which is I feel like he is so insistent on playing it safe, almost because he has to. Like he wants your audience to believe, hey, we're going to talk about how shitty advertisers are, but you can't really do that because otherwise the movie couldn't get made at all.
Right.
So he just stays right in the middle and never really says anything one way or the other. He's like, well, you know. It's like, well, you know, the movie. And the other thing is the humor. Like that first bit we were doing in the beginning of this review for like a minute where we're like naming all these products. That's the entire humor of the film. And it just does it throughout the film. And the audience loved it. They were rolling. But after 30 minutes, I was like, yeah, we get it. It's about sponsorship. You stop throwing your, look, he's drinking a Palm Wonderful. No, it just wasn't that funny after a while. And that's all it really had most of the time. Every once in a while, there would be a bit that genuinely made me laugh. Like I said, when he went and he presented his commercials to Palm Wonderful, I thought that was funny as hell. But there wasn't enough there to really strongly recommend it. To me, this is a high rental.
Yeah, I have to give it a rental too, only because, you know, the thing is, when I walked out of there, I was like, okay, this is a matinee. But the more I thought about it, it's like, you know what, if I saw this on TV or something, it'd still be enjoyable. I wouldn't really justify somebody going out and paying matinee to see this in a theater. I mean, you're just better off waiting for it to come out on Netflix, honestly. But the thing is, it is entertaining. Ding, ding, ding. It is a little insightful. Yeah. There you go.
I like that. Oh, yeah. Sponsored by Netflix.
It is insightful to the average Joe, but like I said, like he got a little too chicken shit with as far as like what could have been some real like interesting issues, you know, like dealing with the schools and just, you know, showing other countries how they deal with the epidemic of too much advertising or how they go when they actually decide, hey, you know what, let's have advertising in our country. Let's put up billboards. Let's see how it affects our economy, how it affects our people. All that would have seemed more interesting, but I guess I'm going to have to wait for a whole nother documentary. I'm going to have to wait for Michael Moore to put down that burger.
Michael Moore coming, let me show you how to do this.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm going to have to wait for him to get pissed off one day about advertising so he can do
Christ,
it. But yeah, but the thing is, no, it's only a rental because when that joke keeps playing and playing over again, like, oh, look at this, look at that, it's all shit in our movie. You know, after a while, you're just like, okay, cool, but you know, it's forgettable.
Really. You sons of bitches.
Sorry.
You fools. Do you know how much you cost us in Morgan Spurlock money? He was writing a check as we were speaking. And
are you saying Palm Wonderful like had a crate of palm juice they're about to send over to us? And now they're ripping the label off.
Well, then maybe they don't want to do that now. They're probably careful about how much they're putting themselves out there because, again, an interesting point here. Palm Wonderful had a federal lawsuit filed against them by the Federal Trade Commission for making false claims.
Really?
Wow. Those whole claims of will help with heart disease and making your dick hard, you know, erectile dysfunction.
Yeah. Unproven.
Unproven and unbelievable. The Federal Trade Commission came in and said, fuck you, that ain't real.
That might fly with the FDA, but we don't play that.
I could have told those guys that for free. Did anyone hear me when I said it made me shit for the whole day after I drank that?
You know what's good for your heart condition and for keeping erections? Getting laid. But nobody will pay you to say that.
Yeah,
how about just being a man? You know, I was like, I have no problem with a hard on. I'm hard all day long.
The bottle has an hourglass figure. At least it gives you something to jack off to.
Damn. Please, let's change that palm. Makes you shit. All right, that's your advertising. No lawsuit there.
Palm Wonderful presents the greatest movie ever sold.
Where should I be able to go where I don't see one bit of advertising?
To sleep.